What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the special edition of the Nerdgasm Talk podcast because we have our end of the year countdown going on. We did a whole special podcast for that, but this time, Christmas Day, we got two movies. Well, we actually got a lot of other movies, stuff like that too, but two main movies that came out in Wonder Woman 84 and Soul. I did a Wonder Woman 84 and Soul review, non-spoiler, on NC Studios. You guys can check that out. Make sure you guys subscribe and check out my non-spoiler review. But right now, we're going to do ourselves a spoiler review. So I also have the man, also the director, the leader, the president of Spaces Philly himself, the company that the Nerd Coalition is with, the director, Mark Randall. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You enjoying the holidays? It's by the time these people are hearing this, it's New Year's Eve.
Hey man, just go into 2021 with good energy. Leave all that, leave everything else behind you. Just take that good energy, man.
That's how you should go into it. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. And then also, periodically, because I know as soon as I said Wonder Woman 84, and so my wife jumped in and said, "Hey, I gotta say something." So, also joining me on the spoiler cast is the Grace Catchley Sketch.
Hello, everyone.
So, guys, first off, I mean, look, this is like I said, it's not a true form podcast. We're just doing spoilers right here. So, we all seen Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max. I didn't get a chance to see it on Christmas Day, but I seen it the next day after. I have seen Wonder Woman 84 3 times already. And the reason why I seen it 3 times already because this movie is getting a lot of flack for a lot of people. It has some mixed reviews, but a lot of people are not liking Wonder Woman 84. And I was like, I wanted to make sure I watched the whole thing, and because I understand why people hate it so much. And then with Soul, I had watched Soul about twice. I wanted to watch it a third time, but I watched it twice, and I've loved it even better on the second time. So first off, we're going to just get right into Wonder Woman 84. The second installment, Gal Gadot is back as Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins is back to direct Wonder Woman 84. So I say with the spoiler review, man, real quick, your overall thoughts, director, real quick on what you thought of it, and then we could probably let's get into the things that we probably didn't like, and then things that we did like. So they have like a little discussion. So let's start with just just overall.
I was already on the fence with Wonder Woman. Just from the trailer alone, I wasn't really sold that it was going to be a good movie. And
you did say
very
that.
Little thing. Yeah, I mean, I am on the record as saying I was very concerned about one. It just looked a little strange to me. And I knew a lot about the plot before going into the movie because I'm a big fan of spoiler YouTube. So I'm always just trying to see what's leaking and if it's true, and just to keep my ears to the street. But after the early reviews were coming out, they were so bad that I was just like, I kind of felt bad for Wonder Woman, and I was just like, I'm going to give this like a God's honest look, and just try to take away whatever prejudiceness I might have off top, and just go in there and just fill it out. So this didn't happen to me, but apparently a lot of people in the movie crashed while trying to view it on Warner Brothers on Christmas Day. So Warner Media, HBO Max wasn't ready.
They definitely wasn't, especially by the amount of subscriptions they got. 550,000, I think it was.
Yo, the crazy thing is, they're still behind Disney Plus and Netflix by a lot.
Oh, we're not going to talk about
it. Just goes to show you, how much money is in the streaming, ecosystem.
Yeah. Disney got to jump, too. Also, when Soul came out, they jumped up 2.8 million subscribers.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So,
overall, I think the movie as a body of work is meh. It is an okay film. I don't think seeing it in the theaters would have made it any better. I think it would have made certain scenes hit better, But overall, as like a full movie, as like a roller coaster ride, as like a popcorn going fare, it is an okay movie. I think Patty Jenkins made a lot of choices that were just bad. They were just bad choices. I still think Gal Gadot is very wooden in her acting. And I think that's very evident when she's in scenes with people who are more dynamic. Like those earlier scenes with her and Kristen Wiig, those are some rough scenes to look at. And I feel like she had pretty good chemistry with Chris Pine. But even like the way that they executed Chris Pine this time around was very strange. There was just a lot of creative. I feel like there's a good movie here. Like the stuff they did with Maxwell Lord and how it worked was good. I thought that was interesting. I just think they gave Patty too much slack, and either just rein her in just a little bit. And I think it probably would have been the film would have definitely worked out better. At the end of the day, I call Wonder Woman 84 or WW 84 a very goofy movie.
I hope we don't get a third one.
Apparently, they're fast tracking a third one with Patty to write and direct.
Oh no, I was referring to the Goofy movie.
He's talking about the actual Goofy movie.
Oh my bad.
We get Wonder Woman 3 though. But what about you, Late Sketch? Before we get into spoilers.
So I like Wonder Woman, and I think originally, like with the original movie, I went into it with real high hopes, like hoping it was really great, and it was like I enjoyed it more than some of our peers did immediately after we saw it. So I was excited for the second one. I was a bit skeptical, and I also was trying to put aside some of the things that I saw about it before I actually watched it, which can be hard, but it disappointed me. Like, beyond anything else, it was not what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just was like, is it worth watching? Yes. Is it something like, would I put it in my best of 2020? No. Even if we had seen it in the theaters, I don't think I would have put it in my best. I wasn't really in love with the plot, and it was a lot about it that I just really didn't like. That being said, like, did I absolutely hate it? Like, would I say I'd never watch it again? No. I don't hate it as much as the internet seems to hate it. But I do think that there were lots of weak spots in it. Cheetah felt kind of weak, so not Kristen Wiig. Like, I liked her. The character itself and the way it was, like, she was done in the movie, and I don't know. It's just a lot. I don't want to get into it before we really get to the spoilers, but I don't know. I kind of expected more, and I really, like, this kind of made me say I really kind of don't want to see a third one so soon. Like, give it some time to breathe. But it seems like they're not trying to hear that.
Well, my thing still stands. I had to see it 3 times because I said it the first time, and I have gone on record to saying that I still enjoyed the movie. Mm-hmm. I know I'm in the camp of the minorities of who say that they like the movie, and I ain't one of them people. And even after hearing all the negative reviews, and every negative review I heard makes sense. I ain't going against it, and I'm not judging nobody who is going to get who feels that way. Or I'm not saying, well, they just hate DC. No, it's true. But there is still something about the movie that I still like. Now, I'll get into it. So, when you get special things, one of the things, we let's start with the negative, because that's where everybody likes to tune in first to see what's happening, everything like that. Some of the things that people did not like about the movie, I'll start off. One of the things I really had a problem with is I don't like how they brought Steve back. Mm-mm. And when it comes to me, I felt as though that body swapping thing, no matter what movie it's in, creates more questions. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, why couldn't we bring the whole body back? The only thing I can think of is maybe because the body was destroyed in the blast. Who knows? But I was like, but then all of a sudden, that wouldn't, you know, mess up any other wishes. And I felt as though he's in this guy, he takes this guy over, and he just plucks this guy out of his everyday life, and that's what happens. When you look at it in X-Men: Days of Future Past, Wolverine goes back to his own body just in 1974. If you look at it in Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan takes over a body that's already dead with no family. So he's just another John Doe. So nobody's missing him, or when they see him on the street, like, hey, isn't that because they allude to the fact that she sees Steve, but everybody else don't? It's this guy that
she don't even see Steve though. She sees that other dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like
just
how he came up in when they were in the museum, and how he rode up on her.
Yeah,
that's what he really looks like. They just put Chris Pine in there for us.
Yeah,
and she has to she sees him kind of like how a girlfriend or a wife who really loves her husband after he puts on 150 pounds or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, I see the old him in there somewhere. I still see him. Like, she sees him like a mother sees like a son. Like, but he does not look like Chris Pine to her.
No.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was cheap.
It was.
It was also kind of creepy how I mean, I don't think he would be complaining about it, but at the same time, he didn't have no say about it. But they used his body to get freaky, and we don't know what kind of situation he got going on at his home. You know, we don't know if he's a married man or if he's, you know what I mean, trying to figure things out, or
if he's circumcised, whatever it could be.
You stupid.
I'm just being real. I'm just being real.
But seriously, but if he
we don't know.
has something, like, you don't know this man. He's still.
We don't know nothing about this dude because he pops up at the end and he's all just like, Christmas, huh? Wow. And I'm just like, what the hell, dude?
That screamed. So... I heard this guy was in a lot of Hallmark movies. So that just screamed Hallmark Christmas at the end when that happened.
That definitely gave me Hallmark movie ending. Like,
that was so strange.
It just seemed weird to me because it's like, if this crystal or whatever it is can grant any wish, and to the extent that Maxwell Lord wished to be the stone itself, how the fuck could it not just bring him back? Like, the way...
Again, I think Patty Jenkins just made choices. Because she wanted it that way. She saw a movie that came out in the 80s.
So the Angel movie?
Yeah, but the Angel movie, the dude took over a dead person's body, but it was like still that same concept, and like a lot of what Patty Jenkins did was inspired by old shit, and I'm not mad at that, but you can't do weird old shit and then mix in new shit and then expect everyone to be cool with it.
I think she kind of thought that because it's a comic book movie that people would just like suspend their sense of disbelief, but it's kind of hard to completely do that. I mean, like, even the way that he said he found her, to me, was just like,
in the phone book. Yeah, strange.
Like,
I took that as Patty Jenkins don't respect comic book readers.
Well,
like, she don't respect the form. I don't think she respects the medium of comic books. I think she thinks that they're just silly.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
I mean, I could see, like, she thinks that she's smarter than the moviegoers, maybe, because
it's like it's kind of like it just looked better on paper. Than
I don't even think it looked good on paper, though. Honestly, like, I'm pretty sure people was telling her this is not the move, because there's been a lot of talk of her just like, you know, because they gave her complete control, so if you didn't like it, she would exile you. And WB was very concerned about the dailies that they were seeing, but Patty Jenkins was like, no, trust me, this shit's gonna hit. And I mean, I guess it hit in some type of way. Like, we're talking about it. I don't think it hit the way she wanted to hit. Like, I'm very curious how well this would have done if COVID didn't hit and we had, you know, Black Widow come out before it or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, I think it would have did well in the first weekend.
The first weekend, I was gonna say that it would have dropped.
Yeah. I don't think it would have did nowhere near as well as Wonder Woman, the first one.
No, I don't think it would have did as good as Wonder Woman as the first one. But I'm not going to sit here and just bash and put all this blame on Patty Jenkins and make it seem like Warner Bros. Is the hero in this one.
Oh heck no!
Because they're not. Because even because Warner Bros. Was the one that wanted to take out the whole scene in Themyscira, which was one of the best scenes in the movie.
But honestly, we could have took that scene out because it had nothing to do with nothing.
That's not true.
It didn't really.
The whole purpose of it was telling them about the truth and the lies of that. That's basically what she was. What everybody or certain the main characters was going through with the whole movie. Truth and lies and all that stuff like that.
I think because it opens with that and it just throws you in there, like you have no idea like what is going on with these like Amazonian Hunger Game of like Olympics. And it's supposed to like teach you some grand lesson, which is like one of my problems with the movie, is that it's supposed to be like don't cheat. But it was just like when else did she cheat in the movie? Like she didn't consciously make a wish and like you know what I'm saying?
She
like
did make the wish. That's how Steve came back.
Yeah, but it wasn't like she knew, like, hey, touch this rock and I'll give you whatever you want. Because when she made her wish, it was kind of just like when the dude wished for coffee. They were just kind of fucking around with it. They didn't think it was real until it got real.
Yeah, but then
and then when it got real, I don't think they really realized all the rules to it because there was no one to explain it
until we got to the random shaman guy.
Yeah, and I just think like the Amazon part, it would have been different if Maxwell Lord had came to her or if she was seeking it and it was just like they say you can have whatever you want with it and she's just like, oh my god, this is real. What I really want is Steve. And then it'd be like, oh, okay, that's cheating. She didn't know. Because when he popped up, she was fucking like, how in the hell did you get here? This is crazy, huh?
But then it also showed that if she's plucking this regular guy out of his life. And then also, she's willing to lose it all for Steve, even though she can see that that's not clearly Steve. That's you cheating. You can't do that.
Cheating for how? And also, it wasn't like there was ever a chance to slow down and have a conversation. It wasn't like months and stuff went by and she's not letting go. It was kind of like he pops up. And then she's like, man, that's crazy. Let's find this rock. And then like the rock is gone. And then she's like, well, let's look for the rock. And then them looking for the rock, shit just goes crazy. And then they realize like what's going on. And then Steve, not even one of them, Steve is like, yeah, you gotta let me go because you up here losing your strength. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, in the beginning, first of all, I don't even think she cheated in the Olympic Games. I thought she was, she fell off the horse. I thought she was being very resourceful. Granted, she didn't hit her last marker, which I think is what they're calling cheating. But I thought she was like showing like, when life sets you back, you step forward.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought the same thing.
I thought it looked good. I thought that scene looked good. I just like it was just a weird scene. It just didn't make any sense to me in the context of the film. And just to show the golden armor. And it was just like this woman put on this armor and just got beat by like 1,000 barbarians. It was just a very weird movie, man. Like the armor is so strong, take some of them motherfuckers out. Like why are you getting beat up by all these dudes and you're just hiding behind the wings with the golden? It was just a very strange, like that didn't make any sense to me. They're supposed to be like Spartans in a way, like female Spartans. They're Amazons. They're known for being strong and beautiful and powerful, and they just played defense the whole game. They were like the Steelers. It was just a weird movie.
The one thing I'm also that was because I didn't think about that scene where what was her name, Asteria or something like that.
Yeah.
Why would they go after and beat up this one woman, and there's a whole civilization of super strong women that are running away?
Yeah, and why were so many of them just beating up on one woman? Like 5 dudes could have did that, and then the other ones could have went wherever they wanted to go. It was just like a very weird choice. It just seemed like a weird, it's a very weird decision.
I will say the thing with the armor that bothered me most was the fight. I don't want to jump ahead far.
No, we talk also that we didn't like.
But
I didn't want to jump either, but I definitely got problems with that too.
How in the world you told this story, this grand story about this armor that one was apparently still in pristine condition after she was pummeled by an army of men, and then she puts it on, and Cheetah, who just got her powers 35 seconds ago, was able to shred through this armor.
First off, I was mad that she ain't gonna get it at Themyscira. That would have made a good Themyscira, because it's kind of like when Aquaman don't want to take the mantle, or when Clark has to go to the Fortress of Solitude to get that suit. I was like, she just has it.
Yes.
Why she just have it? She has it covered in a blanket in her office area.
That's what I'm saying. Why not go to them? See, the way I look at it is, you have to establish a threat as a big enough threat to the point where I need to maybe a wish could have been on. This is why I'll be here. Remember in Doom, right? I know you've seen that, Mark. Wonder Woman's weakness was she will keep fighting until she's exhausted. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm thinking if Maxwell Lord has this wish that if Wonder Woman's slowing him down for what he's trying to do, to say I want to have like a John Wick thing, have the world attack her, right? To the point where I need there's a reason I need to go to Themyscira, get this unstoppable suit to go back and try to stop Maxwell, whatever the case may do. Something a little bit different to show us, how important the suit is, to the point where it's just like it means more than just having to sit in the back of my apartment. And then it makes it better than just for me to have a cool another skin to have in a pointless fight scene. And I think they didn't build up the suit. They just told a story about it. They didn't do much building up to the suit. Then when the suit got here, the suit did nothing. And like I said, she was on defense a lot. And I'm like, it looked like Patty Jenkins was trying to do the Wonder Woman love story, where Jeff Jobs was trying to show. Have you ever read Earth 1 Wonder Woman?
Maybe.
I mean,
I refresh my memory. Are we talking comic or are we talking animation?
I'm talking about comics. Remember when they had that new series about who I think was it Jeff Jobs who did it or something like that? Remember they had Earth 1 Batman and they had the Earth 1 Superman and they had the it's kind of like them at the beginning. Year one. There we go. Year one.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. It looked like that. It was like two different Wonder Womans that were trying to be written in this movie, and it clashed with each other. There was no balance with it. Mm-hmm. And that whole suit, that whole fight, the whole story made everything pointless. So if y'all saying that we didn't need the beginning, Themyscira Olympics, maybe you could have made that beginning scene of showing how powerful that suit is with
Asteria.
But
that would have made more sense, because how do we have I know it's supposed to be like cutesy, but why would we have a mid-credit scene of her walking through a village in, I guess, modern day, quote unquote, like 84?
Yeah.
How was she able to still be walking this earth? One, how was she still able to walk in this earth and never went back to Themyscira and told anybody she was alive? And how did she survive with that suit? I felt like it was weird, because it's like, sis, if you found this suit and you was looking for her all this time, why didn't you just take the suit back to Themyscira? Why do you have it?
It was. I mean, was it a good post-credit scene? Linda Carter, sure. But other than that, I was like, the whole thing is not truly making sense.
Yeah, I mean, I I got so much wrong with this film. I feel like there was a good film there. I just think that there was just so many choices that were just weird.
When it comes to me, I think the 84 thing hurt it a little bit more. I am not mad about it being set in the 80s.
Right.
But when you have a movie title that's listed in the time period that you're in, yeah, you handicap that movie to that time period. And what I mean by that is because it looked like I bet Patrick said, look, we're going to do Wonder Woman 84. We're going to place Wonder Woman in the 80s. There are plenty of comics that are popular Wonder Woman comics that she takes place in the 80s. And she was looking like, well, I feel as though if we go so 80s, I think people will enjoy the retro aspect of it. First of all, not one black person had a Jerry curl. I was a little upset by that, but it's okay.
Yo, there's not a lot of black people in this movie to begin with.
At all.
Say what?
There's not a lot of black people in this movie at all.
It's supposed to be in Washington D.C. in the 80s. Come on,
Chocolate City.
Come on.
I know about Chocolate City.
After dark in Washington D.C.
Yes, I mean the only black folks that we had in the movie was the main ones. Leon, the homeless guy.
The fact that they had breakdancers that were all like white people was just offensive.
And that, I think, just a side note, when people say representation matters, everybody's like, y'all just want everything. Y'all want everybody to be turned black. It's not always necessarily about there's a main character who is black. Or, I don't need you to stick somebody in there who's the black friend that's the sidekick or whatever. Sometimes it just means the little nuances, like the breakdancers. If you're going to have breakdancers in a city at the time that was majority minority, why don't you have any black or Hispanic breakdancers?
With the Ayada suit on.
They all don't got to be black. Just at least throw in. I think there's a black woman cheering in the breakdancing, but I was like, she's not even breakdancing. What is going on here?
It was just
that
like,
was kind of a weird scenario.
I felt like that was one of the only things where it was like, we're showing you this so that you know you're in the 80s. Because everything else was kind of like, all right, we feel really tied to this 80s theme, but
I think they did 80s. When she was writing it down, I think it was 80s the wrong way. And like I said, it was like, let's show action scenes 80s style. And I'm like, I don't need to see that again. Or let's just see.
Those action scenes 80s styles were so bad.
They were.
Those really badly done, those poorly done green screens where she was running, that looked
I will get to the run. Okay, I will get, because I said I hate that run.
God, that looked so bad.
Which run are you talking about?
I will get to the run. So the whole mall scene, I was like, okay, this is 80s cheese. I get it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, fine. She say a little black girl goes to the teddy bear. Her mama still ain't had no Jerry girl. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. But this is 80s cheese. I'll forgive it for this first scene. But it kept on going. And I'm like, if you're going to be in the 80s, you could have did something. Look, Reagan's in office. AIDS is hitting. Drugs is hitting. If this is Wonder Woman, right, in D.C. in 1984, there's a lot of things to help out the neighborhood with. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I don't live in D.C. I just don't, I just see the kids stealing sunglasses in the 80s and then they running, knocking a bride off the bridge. She taking her wedding photos. I'm just like, I'm not saying I want Wonder Woman to go inside the crack house, but I'm just saying.
It wouldn't have been a crack house yet.
Not yet. But I'm saying, there was so much happening in the 80s to the point where there are little things that you could illustrate, especially for the time period that you're in. If you're going to be a period piece and you're going to go into this time, I think you need to go fully into whatever you're about to do.
You gotta go balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall.
She wasn't balls to the wall.
And I think
she went balls to the wall with
the wrong way
80s action scenes and the way, she went balls to the walls with how the villain, how Maxwell Lord was acting. She did everything wrong about the 80s and none of the good fun stuff. She didn't do Stranger Things. She just did something else that just wasn't good.
Like I said, the action scenes, the dialogue, the cheesiness, your lasso. That's all, the 80s the wrong way. It's like let's focus more on You know, the ugly attire, the leg warmers, the parachute pants.
She could have took him to an arcade.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff that was in the 80s, but like also.
You trying to tell me Warner Brothers don't got the access to some of these 80s catalogs? You couldn't play no 80s music?
It was exactly. It's a lot that you could. Honestly, I can't. I'm saying this. I think X-Men did 80s better than they did.
I ain't mad at you.
Okay, I think you know. What I'm saying, I'm not saying it was the greatest movie, but I'm just saying. But I think Apocalypse did 80s better than Wonder Woman did, and I'm like,
let's talk about. If you don't mind, I just want to talk about like so. A lot of stuff they did, and especially VFX, but her lasso was very 2000s, and it did not look good. And I kept hearing all these reviews on how people were saying the lasso is like the carpet in Aladdin, and I was like, no, it wasn't. It was just animated real poor like. Like people thought that the lasso had a mind of its own, and it really didn't. It just didn't make any sense the way that it moves. It was just 100% a non-alive lasso. It just moved. It just broke the laws of physics, like the way she would move with it, and it just didn't look good. And so, like, I remember like seeing all these reviews and thinking that her lasso was going to be a character, like Doctor Strange's cloak. And no, it just looked bad. It just looked strange, and she used it way too much. Jesus Christ! Like, she lassoed everything.
I will have it. I will agree with you that she used the lasso way too much. The way it moved, it don't bother me. You talk about somebody who's the daughter of Zeus. Like, that don't bother me. But when it comes to the amount of times that she used, it reminded me of the Batmobile in the Arkham Knight.
Just too much.
If anybody has played Arkham Knight, that Batmobile, I'm just like, it was a cool addition, but you used that Batmobile and that damn Bat Tank way too much. Especially with the spoiler alert, the final battle with Deathstroke, I'm like, oh, we about to go against Slade Wilson, who is like DC's Deadpool, and we have a tank fight. Have you played Arkham Knight, director?
Not only did they use the Batmobile, the Bat Tank too much, they blow it up, and you're so excited, and then they give you a bigger, uglier Bat Tank,
and I'm like, I got this tank. Oh, I was so sick of the tank, and that's how I felt with the lasso in this movie. I don't mind how it moved. I just felt like I was like, this is Wonder Woman. I have seen Wonder Woman. Huh?
Did you think it had a mind of its own?
I never thought the lasso had a mind of its own. I just thought I every time when it comes to the lasso, I was like the lasso of truth. That's all it was to me.
I think they kind of gave you that impression in the last scene, though. Like
how it just like wrapped itself around his leg.
Around him. She couldn't get up. The lasso couldn't get there, but somehow it magically got to his leg.
Yeah.
It's weird. I hate that the whole end, just throw it in the trash can.
So I fill it with fire.
So, which end did y'all like? Because this is come from people that both didn't like Act 3 in the first movie or Act 3 in the second movie. So, which one?
I didn't say I hated Act 3 in the first movie. But,
Act 3 was definitely the worst part in that movie.
I mean, well, okay. Was it the worst part of the movie? Sure. Was it as bad as this? No. Sorry. It was
I feel like Act 3 of Wonder Woman 1 could have easily have been saved by just making Ares look more menacing. But the fact that I could see, you know what I mean, the dad from the Wild Thornberries, like, through the mask, it just took me out of it. Like, you saw his mustache and everything. Like, all you had to do is just make everything black underneath and have glowing red eyes. Boom, problem solved. I think the problem with this Act 3, first of all, whatever happens with Cheetah, we don't see it. She just shows up a bad bitch. I don't understand it. Sure, okay. And then Wonder Woman shows up a bad bitch with the gold, with the gold armor, and she's flying, and you're just like, okay, well, they're about to throw down, and they don't, and that's so disappointing. And then you like go to see what Maxwell Lord is doing, and she like talks to him. It's a talk battle. They have a conversation, And that's whack because.
Well, what did you really think was
what
what happened to Maxwell Lord in the first place? When you heard he was even going to be in this movie, you knew that Wonder Woman was not going to fight Maxwell Lord because it's over in a hit.
I didn't think she was going to snap his neck like she did in the comic. I just thought the cheetah fight would have lasted a lot longer. Like, I expected the cheetah fight to be the boss fight and then to get the Maxwell Lord and be like, you're done now, you know? Or something along those lines, and you can reverse it, or I don't know. I just respected her. Like, basically, he just like he put his hands at her, like toward her, and then she got hit with like the power of like the wind, and then she was against the wall, and then she starts talking to people. Who was she talking to? Like, was the cameras on? And then things are being projected. The lasso's showing the truth, but it ain't showing no truth. It's showing her message. The shit made no sense. And then he renounces his wish, which makes no sense because they never told us that's something you could do. Like, does that mean it just goes away? So homeboy that wish that chick would die, did she come back to life? If that's the case, this thing does have the power to bring people back to life. Why is Chris Pine in someone else's body? There's just some weird choices that I feel like could have just been eliminated.
They were fine.
Probably just.
I mean, they did never actually say, like, you could renounce your wish until she said, I renounce my wish, and we just magically didn't see him behind the pillar anymore. Because, honestly, if she renounced her wish, what was the process for Chris Pine to leave my man's body? So did he just come to standing there dressed in some random clothes? Like, why the fuck am I out here in this chaos? What happened?
I mean, it ain't random clothes. Those are his clothes.
Oh, those were his clothes?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if those were his clothes.
He came out wearing that crazy outfit at the end, the one with like the scarf.
Yeah.
That shit was so 80s.
That was definitely 80s.
I just expected the cheetah fight to be stronger, that's all, because she's more of a physical match to Wonder Woman. And they just had Wonder Woman playing defense the whole time.
It was...
if y'all go back to my podcast, I don't have up on the channel right now, but at first when I heard Kristen Wiig was going to be Barbara, I didn't like it. I really did. I saw the movie and I ended up enjoying her as that character because I think she did the generic nerd character the best way.
Yeah, I think she's the better Elektra, like you said before.
Yeah, her, or Pamela Isley, you know what I'm saying, or Selena Kyle, or, you know, Edward Nygma, you know what I'm saying, anything that Batman does. So yeah, I think that she did the better job doing that. But I still think that Cheetah could have been saved for a post-credit scene to the third movie, because that's the nemesis for Wonder Woman. And then it could have been more of a threat. There are a lot of things you could have did with the Maxwell Lord character, more so to actually make him a threat. Like I said, if you...
I like what they did with him, though.
Say what?
I did like what they did with him. He was one of my highlights of the film.
Okay. So, what was it about Maxwell Lord that you liked that he did with him?
I like how he used a stupid ability like granting wishes to be, like, malice.
Ow.
Like, you just walk up to someone and be like, don't you wish, like, this works out for me? And then they would be like, yeah.
Yeah, I
and then
wish
he'd
that.
be like, yeah. Like, yeah. And it was just kind of like, I kind of dug, like you said, like, we could have had a whole army of people, and it could have been, like, Wonder Woman versus, like,
The world.
you know, like, they were in a museum. They could have, like, brought to life, like, 1,000 stone statue men or something. You know, I can understand that they don't want her to punch through people's abdomens and have blood and stuff, but we could have showed how physical and how strong she is and how amazing she is, besides just hiding behind her gold armor as Cheetah tore into her ass. It was just weird, man.
I think that to me would have been the direction that Maxwell goes in. That once she finds a way to, like, beat the world or beat whatever enemy he has coming after her, because see, all the missiles that they launched, all that they set up, that could have been aimed at her personally.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have had more of a reason to be like, I gotta let Steve go, because if this thing hit me, I'm done. There's nobody else here to save. Remember, this is 84. This is before Justice League even happened. I got to find a way to do this. So that's the way
Renounce your wish? What if you didn't renounce your wish? Like, there's tons of people who are just not going to renounce their wish. Like, what's going to happen there?
That's the thing. When you put it on a global scale, that do something like that. When you put it on a global scale, it hurts the plot a lot. Mm-hmm. You gotta kind of self-contain it. If this thing just happened in DC, then I think it could have worked a little bit better.
Yeah, like if he got on like the news or something.
Yeah, like just it's a local news. He's there in the White House. Like if this was a thing to like only happen in DC, where he only talk about he only gets power of trying to be the president or whatever the case may be. He knows that the threat of Wonder Woman, and before he's done doing his plan, he has to try to find a way to stop her. Me personally, it would have been I all that, like, let me take your whole army like he did in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. That would have went get rid of her.
That made the most sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like I all this so that he could have did and wished for. You could have tried to get rid of Diana. Then it really would have put her in a choice where it's like, the love of my life, or I gotta be Wonder Woman for the world. And then that would have been more of a harder choice. Maybe it wouldn't have felt as sappy as my wife called it. Like that, the positive to me, I liked all the stuff with her and Steve Trevor. I enjoyed all that stuff. And I really felt as though when you said she was wooden, I was like, I didn't get wooden because I felt as though that Gal Gadot owned the Wonder Woman character in this one, and like she showed real emotion, which I have not seen her do in almost any of her movies since she's been in there. She may have shown a tiny bit of emotion when it came to the Justice League, or yeah, I would say. Maybe Justice League, maybe not. But the first Wonder Woman, Fast and Furious 6, all the other movies that she was in. I forgot she was even in that. Yeah, I would say I didn't. In 5, I would say I didn't feel. I was like, there's no emotion. She's wooden and all of them.
She's rigid. She's a rigid actress.
But in this one, I felt so she's coming into her own. She's coming into the role to the point I'm just like, when Barbara said, "What is it that you're giving up?" and she just stared at her. It was just like, damn. You got me. And she was hurt by that because she know that her being here by herself and being lonely for 70 fucking years, and to the point like I would do anything to have the love of my life back. So,
and can I just say, that's all bullshit too, though.
Why is
if
that
you really
bullshit?
think about it, because she met this dude for like, how long were they in Wonder Woman 1? Like a week? And like he dies and then she can't move on for 70 years? Come on, family.
It's kind of like the person who, or the nerd, or whatever the case may be, who never can get the girl that he finds.
Made it look like her life was awful until he popped back up. Like she could, like she was just, like she just couldn't take the sight of men, and she was just unfulfilled and just living miserable for 70 damn years. 70 years? That's a long time.
You know what my biggest problem with that is?
Okay, go ahead. You said.
So. My biggest issue, yeah, it was cute. Let me preface this with, I don't like chick flicks and rom-coms and all that shit. So all the sappy stuff and the love stuff, not my deal. So I was just like, all right, y'all, okay, you giving me Captain America vibes, Captain and Bucky here. All right, now like sis, it can't be, okay, it can't be this deep. But my biggest problem with that whole exchange, you mean to tell me this woman who is a demigod, daughter of Zeus, does not know she can fly until Steve Trevor magically reappears and takes her in a plane? What?
Let's talk about that flight. That blows my mind.
She's been alive for hundreds of years, and she's never ever figured out she could fly. Never. The invisible jet thing, I'll give you that, fine. Flight in the 80s is, I'm not going to say new, but it's not like you would just have everyday access to an airplane, even though apparently she does because she works with the Smithsonian. However, She didn't know she could fly. And Steve's love brought her the ability to fly. Wait, you're fucking kidding me?
Love in a sentence. It's just wind. Wind under things, wind over things. Mainly wind. I could have described anything. That's how you throw a baseball. Like, it was just like, her flying mechanics, I was trying to be there with it. I was trying to be like, she's so emotional. Like, was she falling? Was she hovering? Like, is she a plane herself? Is she gliding? Like, what is she doing? How is she moving forward? Is she lassoing and then moving with that momentum? It makes no sense. Like, it just... And the fact that she never flew in any other Wonder Woman thing, this is the 4th time that we've seen her, it's just kind of strange, you know? Like,
also, as someone who was into planes, flew a plane, what he described, riding pockets of air, is a glider.
Yeah.
And also, how great of a pilot was he? He died in 1914. Then, flight was new. What the fuck? I can't stand it. I hated that part of the movie. I think that right there is the part of the movie where I was just like, fuck this. That is when I was just like, I was trying to ride with you. I really was. The flight and the cheetah fight is where I was just like, I have checked out.
Okay, now look. I
can't.
But let's be real. Y'all wouldn't like it any other kind of way.
What you mean?
You know what? If she would have did the flying like I thought she was gonna do with her lassoing lightning and air, and then just been like, well, my daddy Zeus taught me, I would have preferred that.
You wouldn't have. Don't even give me that shit. You didn't even like it. We seen the trailer. There are some things. You know what?
When I saw it in the trailer, I didn't like it. But when I saw her lasso the lightning in the movie, it made more sense than because when it's in the trailer, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is she up in the sky? Like, if she's up that high, she should just be flying, and she was flying. So it was kind of, but the one woman I knew couldn't fly. So the fact that she was lassoing lightning was just absurd to me.
So if she had just came in this movie and started flying, then what would you have said?
I thought she could fly by the end of the first one, but everyone was just like, Wonder Woman can't fly. That's not something she can do. Because at the end of Wonder Woman, the first movie, it looked like she flies off at the end.
Uh-huh.
And I thought she could fly personally until everyone was like, that's not something this one woman can do. So I was just like, all right, well, that's just strange. She's just jumping around like the Hulk. Like, that's goofy. And then the lassoing the lightning, it just, first of all, it looked bad in the trailer. It didn't look that much better in the movie. But in the context of what she was doing, it looked way better than her flying. I'll tell you that damn much. Where her like using like the hand motions to be like up, like a fucking propeller or some shit. It was just like, I don't know. Is she a human plane? Is that what she's doing? Is she a human hang glider? Like, what about her is flying? Is she propelling herself with the energy of Zeus, or is she really just riding air pockets? Because it doesn't, like, what is she lasso? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that was happening there that when she lassoed the lightning, that felt rational to me at that point. And I was just like, oh, that's how she's going to move forward. She's going to use the momentum of lightning. Sure.
Because that would mean that she can't fly unless it's raining outside for real. Like, honest to God. But this is my thing.
She can't fly in the air.
What happened?
She has to already be in the air to fly.
Yeah, and I think the thing that got me about it was, if you are somebody who has thrown yourself into your work because you have been lonely for 70 years, you mean to tell me you never fully realized, you've never realized the full capacity of your powers in all of this time that you have been Wonder Woman? You have been an extraordinary being since you were literally born. And never in any time did you say, I wonder if I can fly.
I mean, but this happens with all types of period superheroes. It's the same. The reason why I don't get on it so much, because I can do the same thing about Captain America. You mean tell me it took, Now, his excuse...
He was nice.
No, I'm saying, his excuse, he was frozen for 7 years, and then he came up and then it's like, okay, well, let me go to S.H.I.E.L.D. and learn all this other kind of stuff. There are different comics where, they have another Captain America in the other place. People are like, well, he didn't try to stop this or try to stop that. I'm like, look, I'm not here to sit there and say, basically what we're all trying to say is that she shouldn't have been depressed for that damn long, and she should have figured out all her Wonder Woman capabilities in that time frame. That's basically what we're saying.
That's not what I'm saying, but she was Wonder Woman before she met him.
That's the whole part of this movie.
I could understand her being upset if they had a life together before Wonder Woman the movie. Like he literally fell out of a sky, and then she was like, "Oh, you're cool," and then she was a fish out of water or whatever, and they had like a week together, and then out of that week she's supposed to be in love for 70 fucking years. It wasn't like she lost her virginity to him or nothing, and it was just magical and special.
She probably did. Be honest with you, there's no men on Themyscira.
There was nobody in Themyscira.
She said she didn't. She said like they have the ways of sex. Like if you go back and watch that movie, they already was like she was. I mean, Wonder Woman. Come on now.
I mean, dildo a real thing. I'm saying.
Now, listen, it's entirely possible that he could be the first man that she was with. My thought process about this is not so much that she can't be attached to him for 70 years. It's more so the fact that everything, they made it seem like him coming back was like the answer to her just being her. Like she was not already extraordinary.
And the crazy thing is like he was the one that was like, "Hey, you're losing your strength," and she was like, "Oh," and he was like, "You need to let me go so you can go and handle this and be Wonder Woman." And then she's like, "Okay," and then she has that very emotional scene that was well acted, and then she like runs, which looked awful.
That run
was a mess. That run, that's the one you're talking about.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Now I know what you're talking about. That was bad.
He did a lot, and I think that maybe they made her weaker so he could do more, because like that action scene with them on the road was pretty dope, but it was kind of weird. I don't know. I just think you don't get a lot of women superheroes who kick ass like that. Mm-hmm. To nerf her was just a weird choice to me. Like I can understand if it happens a lot, but it doesn't. So like, how many female superhero movies do we got? We got Catwoman, we got Wonder Woman, and we got Captain Marvel. And Black Widow ain't even come out yet. So, like, for them to just be like, oh, now you get shot and you bleed and you can't block things, and, like, Steve Trevor saves your ass multiple times, and the fact that she wasn't even the one that was just like, you know what, I gotta let you go. He was like, you gotta let me go. And then she's just like, you're right, Steve, come on. She's Wonder Woman. She's a goddamn demigod.
That was what I meant by the sappy part. It felt like they were trying to kind of give her that damsel in distress vibe that we really don't need from a very powerful woman. It's different when it's like Lois Lane in Superman. Uh-huh. She's a regular person. She can be a damsel in distress as much as she wants. So they made it's like you can have a love story where they don't have to be handicapped by love.
Okay, I can agree with you on that one. I can agree with you. I could definitely 1,000% agree with you on the handicap by love thing.
That's my problem. It's not that, like, she can be upset about Steve. If you are a person who has been on an island with a bunch of other, bunch of other women for your entire life, you find a man, he's great, you like him, he blows up. Cool, I understand. That's traumatic. I get it. Whatever. If you want to be depressed about him until you die, cool. There are people who find the love of their life, get married, and they die and they never get married again. Okay, whatever. However, because she was intentionally blocking out other suitors, I guess. It's just the fact that they, like, handicapped her so bad. Like, the only thing she could possibly process in this moment was love.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anybody good. And like I said, but when you do the context of that movie, that's what you're handicapped with. I'm not.
You know what?
Huh?
I think if they would have still gave her the bite, like if she was still ferocious, I probably wouldn't feel as intensely as I do about it.
Well,
but the fact that was she like even when she had her superpowers, she just always fought very like soft and defensively. You know what I mean? And I can understand like she didn't want to hurt like regular people and stuff, but like when there was a time to bring the pain, she didn't.
That's the Superman problem.
Mm-hmm.
I call it. That's the Superman problem, to the point where if he's too aggressive and shows the extent of his power, we have a problem with it.
You have Homelander.
And then, and then if we pull it back, it's just like he's nerfed. And I'm like, I get it. That's why DC characters, when it comes to these movies, are so hard to do, because DC characters are almost mythological type characters. They're
gods.
They're almost like gods, whereas Marvel's more of the earthbound type of everyday guy powers.
Like, it's not hard to do. Just make them fight other gods. It's real simple. Like, no one had a problem with her performance in BVS. They were like, wow, Wonder Woman's amazing. Because she came down there and kicked ass because it was something worthy of kicking ass.
But here's the thing. We're saying that now.
We're not saying that now. I'm saying that. Everyone was saying that.
I'm talking about everybody else. I'm talking about, because remember, we have argued about BVS since the day I met you. Okay? You have been on my podcast, I have been on your podcast, and we always find a way to come back to this indestructible ring that is called BVS. Okay? So I have heard it, just like you have heard it, from many different ways. The biggest thing I heard about Wonder Woman and BVS is, why is she even here? The thing is, it's just like we can look back on it and be like, damn, she kicked ass. Or damn, in Justice League, she kicked ass because she led the forefront in most of the things in Justice League. But I'm like, but when that happened at the present time, we weren't even talking about that because we were so mad at everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe you was having those conversations with other people. I've always been on the thing that, like, my main gripe with Wonder Woman is that she never wore pants. And I just thought that was a very strange choice for a warrior. That was my main boggle with her. Like, I always thought, like, in Wonder Woman, in the first one, that No Man scene was fucking awesome. She put on. She threw a tank through a building. I thought that was amazing. Like, I understand, like, in this one, it was supposed to be campy and whimsical. But then when it came time to get serious, because Cheetah looked serious. Like, when they were shooting those first-person shots and she was tearing at the armor, it looked serious. And if Wonder Woman didn't have her powers, I could understand why she hid the way she did. But it just made no sense when you had a chance for such a great confrontation. Like, Patty Jenkins just said no. Like, WB wanted her to have, like, a big third act, and she just was like, nah. And I just think it was a letdown for a 2-hour and 30-minute movie.
Mm-hmm.
For you to get there, it doesn't have that clash like you want.
And but it's also hard too. Is like, if Warner Bros. Wants you to have a third act, right? And you're like, no, because the most negative thing I hear about the first Wonder Woman is the third act. So what do you do?
I think everyone talks about, like, so you ask yourself, what was wrong? What are they saying about the third act? No one was saying the action in the third act was crazy. The third act, the Wonder Woman, was nuts because she started floating and it became a CGI mess. Like, no one knows what was going on. It was like this whole sword MacGuffin bullshit. It was just bad. And the fact that Ares was just a white dude with a helmet on and like a bad mustache, like, all those were like really bad choices. That stuff was easily fixed if you just put a little punch to it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think with this one, if she just would have fought Cheetah and had like a real fight, I can't even tell you how the fight ended.
She electrocuted
her.
Makes no sense. Exactly. She electrocuted herself underwater, but she walks away fine. What is going on with that?
Also, she electrocuted her and she still lived.
Yeah, if she was strong enough to rip the wings off that suit, that was supposedly held together and has like stood the force of like the might of like 1,000 barbarians. Like electricity takes her out. Is she weak against electricity or water? There's just like, it's just, I don't know. It's just strange stuff like that I just feel like it could have just been easily eliminated if you just had a strong Cheetah versus Wonder Woman fight and have that lead into the Wonder Woman versus Max Lord fight where it's a verbal one, maybe one that's done a little bit better. Can we explain why Max Lord's kid was Asian? Like, there's just weird, so many weird things going on with this movie. Like, it's just a lot of weird choices. And I think that there was a really good movie here if she just would have put it together a little bit differently.
I asked the same question. I'm like, I understand. This is the 80s, though. So I was like, today, you know, you have people who are adopting children of all different races.
Yeah.
But I was like, but my man's is Hispanic. His baby
it's so hard to adopt a kid when you solo. Like, ain't nobody want to give no man a kid.
Like, but he had a mama, but they made it seem like him and the mama was together. They had a baby. Now they share custody. We never saw the mom.
Never did.
So the mom got to be Asian.
That's what I'm thinking.
That kid looked Asian. Like it wasn't no Keanu Reeves Asian. He was Asian.
I love black people. They just, I'm gonna say it twice so you know what I'm Asian. No, but seriously,
there's no black people in there.
That's the thing, because I was just like, this baby's Asian. I mean, cute little boy, but I'm confused.
Can I ask you, at what point did you realize that Wonder Woman was losing her powers because Steve Rogers was still around?
You said, at what point did I realize it?
Yeah.
Well, she couldn't break the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not think it was because Cheetah was gaining powers?
No, I never thought that. I'll be real with you.
I thought that immediately. I thought she was losing her powers because Cheetah was taking her powers.
I kind of thought that at first when she said she wanted to, because she wished she wanted to be like Diana. And the one thing that kind of bothered me about that, it was like, yeah, that's cool and whatever, but the dupe is never as good as the original. If you make a copy of something, there is flaws in it usually.
Yeah.
She's not a god. Like, she can be like her and all of that, but why would she be able to defeat her or even be her, I guess, almost equal when she got her powers back? I was confused about that part. I don't read the comics, so I don't really know the Cheetah lore or whatever.
Well, ain't that.
I mean, I guess not.
No.
But I kind of thought that she was like usurped, like she was taking her powers at first until they realized that, until we realized, like they explained, it takes what's most important to you. Also, we never really discussed what it took from her.
Took for what?
Cheetah. Her humanity? Is that it?
It took her niceness, I guess.
That is stupid.
Here's another question for you. What was Maxwell Lord's plan?
That's a good question.
That's the question. After him gaining the wishes to the point where it was like to help his business out, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. Then when it was like, okay, you know, he look at the Saudi Arabia guy in the magazine taking his power and taking the oil and everything, that's what the business was kind of about. I got it. And that's where it stopped.
That's where it ends.
And that's where it stopped. And then afterward, I was just like, okay, where are we going with this? He wanted to take the preacher's time slot, and I'm like, why? Were you on TV? I was kind of confused there. I didn't understand why he wanted to, you know, have all his power. And then to the end, he was like, well, I need to grant more wishes so I can get a life force to stay alive now because I'm losing all this stuff. But I'm like, it clearly showed that his precious thing was his son.
But at first it didn't, though. Like, he was very dismissive and throw this kid away type.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, okay, so is the thing that's most important to him his business? Because if that was the case, it should have been like, whatever wish that you... But he's granting the wishes now, I guess. But it's like, so it should have... Your business should have, I guess, started tanking. I don't know. But it was like, they did not give me the feels that the kid was the most important thing to him in the beginning. until the very end when he was just like, I gotta save my son. And I'm like, you didn't care about, you left him with the new help 30 minutes ago. What is, I'm confused.
All right, well, so we can move on, we got another movie to talk about. What do you think the plans are for Wonder Woman 3?
Ooh, who knows? I'm sorry.
Because I like the first one. Like I said, I still like the second one, but it was not better than the first one. Of course, we're going to have the Zack Snyder Justice League come out. And, so we don't know how that's going to go. And basically, what DC and Warner Brothers and Jeff Johns and Patty Jenkins are even going to try to do. But they did say that they want to plan to put this one in the modern era. Obviously, if they do a Wonder Woman, it's probably not going to come out to 2022. You know what I'm saying? So, or 2023 maybe.
It's going to be kind of hard to shoot a full movie at this point.
People
shoot. Patty Jenkins is so busy right now, too. Like, she got Cleopatra and she got a Star Wars movie on that.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I'm curious to see what they're going to say about that Star Wars movie. Because people are not happy with Star Wars right now.
Well, people are loving Star Wars right now.
I mean, they love Mandalorian. But not the way it ended.
Very Disney stuff.
Say what?
They were very excited about that Disney stuff, like the whole the whole Disney, like what they're planning.
Oh,
people are pretty jazzed. About what's.
Of course, they're jazzed about what's coming. I'm talking about how it ended.
You call it the movies?
Yeah, I'm talking about that Disney trilogy from Force Awakens all the way down to was it the Rise of Skywalker. They have not been happy with that trilogy at all. Mandalorian brought people back to a happier place in season 2, and then so she's going to have that. I know she's going to have that Cleopatra movie also. So I mean, she's going to be busy. But like I said, Warner Bros. They had some success with the money. This is the biggest pandemic movie so far because it destroyed Tenet.
Christopher Nolan got what he got with Tenet. I'm sorry.
Tenet is an at-home ass movie because so much is going on with that movie and it's the way they talk. Christopher Nolan needs to go somewhere and chill. I love him. He needs to go somewhere and just really think about just chill out, bro. Like I think it's like that. He even wrote the line, if you live long enough for a hero to become the villain, like he just needs to just relax a little bit. Like, yo, you make great movies, but your movies ain't death worthy. And like Tenet was just like, I don't know, man. It was just real heavy for no reason. Like you could have just made it just a little bit chiller.
Christopher Nolan is the Bret Hart of movies. He takes himself very seriously.
Very
seriously.
I know they're fast having Wonder Woman 3. I'm curious because they use their trump card. Wonder Woman doesn't have a crazy rogues gallery. She has Ares. She has Cheetah. I mean, there's a couple other.
She has Granny Goodness.
Who?
Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness is a new god.
But she does. She has been in the Wonder Woman lore before. She has been playing her comic books before.
I know, but you can't just introduce a new god.
I mean, what else can they possibly do?
I think they're going to use her brother.
Here go Rush Hour 3. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't need the brother. I don't need sibling shit. I
can see it. I mean, what's sappier than love? Sibling rivalry is sappy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know this seems ridiculous, but I could see them trying to bring, like, okay, I can't say I can see it, but I think it's a possibility that they could bring back Cheetah for the third.
Oh yeah.
Every time we all know the deal. If you don't see the body, they ain't dead.
Well, she ain't renounced her wish.
Renounced her wish, and we didn't see her die.
Maybe she'll be orange this time. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe the fight scene won't be dark, and I can see it. That'll be fun.
Maybe Wonder Woman will get pants finally.
Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
That'll really satisfy all my urges.
That is weird. She doesn't have pants.
Well, she shouldn't usually get pants like modern. Well, it's gonna be modern, so yeah.
I mean, I know it's just like, why her legs gotta be cold?
lady. Okay, anyway.
I'm just
so
yeah. Also, before we go, I just want to say, if they wanted her to change from her regular clothes to that metal ass costume in between frames, they might as well have just leaned all the way in and have her do the spin. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what? I'm not mad at you for saying that.
She was in the car, and then the next point she was Wonder Woman. Just do the spin. Just do it. You already made the plane invisible, and you say you did it with a cup and you lost it, and that was cute. Just do the spin and put some pants on.
I definitely said that when she said, "Where did she get the outfit from?" Like, it was underneath. I said she was sitting in that the whole time on the whole plane ride.
There's no way. That outfit is way too bulky.
No, not with the sleek. 80s stuff it was weirdly fitted, but that was not fitting sleekly underneath.
I can't tell you. Okay, I'm just saying.
Like what?
And look,
it's not like Spider-Man.
I know. I can't. I really. I look. I agree with everything y'all have said. I agree with everything y'all said. And the only thing I'm saying is, for some reason, I like the movie. But I'm just saying. But I agree with everything you say. Nobody is wrong in anything they said. They're 1,000% right. And if people hate the movie and dislike it, I completely understand. If you like it, all right, that's fine. But I'm saying, but hey, I completely understand.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I mean, it's like
I really don't.
Will I show my kids Wonder Woman 84? Sure, why not? I'm just saying, like, if I go back, I'm like, oh well, DC didn't have really a good year this year. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm hopeful for the future because as a director, as Warner Bros., as Jeff Johns, whatever the case may be, is going to DC, they're going to have to look at Wonder Woman 84, even though it made money. They're going to have to look at it and be like, okay, we got to go back to what made the first one work. We got to go back to what everybody was clamoring about the first one about, and we got to double down on that and make things better. If we're going to try to bring Chris Pine back because he's just great, we got to find a clever way to do it. If we're going to make Wonder Woman more of a badass, we got to make her villains more intimidating. We got to go. If you're going to make a third one, you got to do like Spider-Man 3. You got to go balls to the wall, put it all out there, drop the cheese, chop everything, and make the best possible ending you can, because it's going to be a trilogy. That's going to be it. If you go see Wonder Woman again, it's going to be in crossover movies.